Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Next Level Teaching. Hiya! You know what I'm saying? I'm Jeremy Anderson, your goofy, crazy host, and I'm here with my super dope co-host, Miss Tori Rodriguez, T-Rod. What's up?
That's where I feel right now. Like Jeremy over here with this chopping.
You know what I'm saying? We got my sis Michelle Shaw in the building. I'm excited.
Ready to start breaking it down.
No doubt.
Something. Oh my gosh.
How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited to be back in turtlenecks.
Okay.
It's that time
what
of
you
year.
call it? Sweater weather?
Yeah, sweater weather.
Yes.
It's the best.
Right.
And I'm like the turtleneck queen. I'm known for
it.
among my friends.
I
So
love it.
I'm excited to be back in them. It feels so good outside.
Yep.
And football is back.
Our football's back.
And we have Michelle.
In the building.
It's like all the things, all the feels.
Right. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's going to be so good. Well,
Look, and they're probably, people are looking at us like, man, what are they talking about? They're goofy. Look, y'all, we want you to laugh. We want you to learn something new and live your best life, right?
Yeah.
That's what our podcast is all about. So we're glad you all are joining with us today. We will ask that our people give us a review, right? Stop in Spotify, iTunes, show us some love, maybe 5 stars, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Just let us know you're picking up what we're putting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know you appreciate, what it is that we're offering. So we do love to hear from subscribers and viewers and listeners like you.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe for sure.
Please.
And let us know what it is that you're wanting to hear more about maybe. So maybe you're like, I'm really struggling in this time to figure out how to create, interactive lessons with my students.
Right.
Or, I am... like maybe I'm a fine arts teacher and I want to hear more about that. Like, let us know
Struggling
what you're...
with COVID and virtual.
Let us
Equity and
know
inclusion.
what you want to hear
Let us
about.
know. We're going to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
And we've been blessed to have relationships with some of the most aspiring minds in education,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, to come on the show. So I'm excited about today's guest.
Yeah. And I know that you have a little bit of a connection.
Yep.
Michelle, you know both the boys,
Yeah,
correct?
I do.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm kind of like the new one getting to know about you. So I'm excited to learn just as much as our listeners are.
Yep.
But I want to let you guys know who Michelle is. So Michelle Shaw, your mom of 2 little
Yes,
ones.
I am too.
And she has been teaching for 16 years.
That is correct.
Nice.
She's in elementary. Whew.
Next level.
The beginning.
Literacy specialist at a charter school.
Yes.
And then also public school, correct?
Yes.
Kindergarten, first grade.
Yes, second grade,
Oh,
EIP.
Bless
I've
it.
done a lot.
Yes.
In these 16 years.
Like the whole gamut, I
Yes.
feel like. And you said that you had kind of stepped out of the classroom for a little while to become that literacy specialist where you were
Yes.
working with teachers more.
More than students.
And you wanted to get back into that.
Yes, I miss being in the classroom. I love having those connections with students. And so I found myself having that experience of being outside the classroom, working with teachers and students, but I really just felt that calling to go back into the classroom.
I love that. I love that.
That's good.
I love that there are so many teachers that we have talked to that are like, I stepped out of the classroom for a little while, either to play a different role in the classroom or to take care of kids or because of their mental health or because of whatever it is. But having that calling to come back into it because it is what you're called to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep. No, that's good. That's good. I think we connected last when we were doing that cruise giveaway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You talk about next level teacher. Let me tell you about Miss Ayanna Hendricks.
Okay.
Diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes.
So in the was it 2018?
2018-2019 school year.
Yeah, so 2018-2019 school year, we were on the campaign. So the 2017-2018 school year, we was on the campaign to reach 1 million students.
Wow.
So I traveled like crazy. And then the 2018-2019 school year, we were on a mission to reach and inspire 1 million teachers.
Wow.
And so with that, we said, let's send a bunch of teachers across America like on free cruises. So we sent a limo.
Where was I?
How do I get nominated for this?
For real.
Yeah. The word says it's better to give than to receive. So we would just want to really show like my deep appreciation and passion for educators. And so we sent a limo to pick them up.
Wow.
We paid for 2 round-trip flights, and we sent them on a vacation. Most of them, it was a cruise, and just to spoil them and say thank you. And so people would get nominated. We heard about Miss Ayanna Hendricks.
Yes, Miss Ayanna Hendricks was a first grade teacher, worked very hard, came into teaching later in her career, worked as an accountant, I believe, before at a bank, but worked super hard with our girls. It was an all-girl charter school, and she just had a passionate, just every time I walked in her classroom, they were singing and dancing and so engaged. But all along, we didn't know that she was battling breast cancer. Ooh. taking, I don't know how many pills a day. I mean, it was
70, I think it was 76 pills a day. So many pills, she would have to crush some of them up and like put them like in a smoothie because she couldn't even swallow that many pills. Because chemo, because of the type of cancer she had and her health, chemo would not have worked. Chemo would have took her out. It was too aggressive, so she had to take like all these different pills.
You know, that just made me think of Chadwick Boseman. Just battling and not knowing.
Yeah.
Yes, all the time.
Yes,
all those movies.
like, you know, people just pushing through and you never know what they're going through.
Exactly. Because she really never missed too many days of school. She was there. She might call in a little bit late just if she was having a rough morning, but she was there for her girls every day.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, next level. And so it was a pleasure. It was an honor. I even wore a Batman costume.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I need a
We
picture
set up
of
a
this.
whole pep rally
Yeah,
for her
a whole
daughters.
pep
Her family
rally.
came to surprise her. She had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. So it was like, so she just thought it was just a regular pep rally. So I showed up with the Batman costume, and because I had my little tagline, like said, "This is a costume, but you're the real hero."
Oh,
yeah, it was
look
good.
at
It was
you.
good. Come on, don't play with it. So I
Look
show up
at
at the
you.
school. I got the microphone. The kids are excited. She has no clue. And I'm like, there's someone here. I brought her up, handed her a big bouquet of flowers,
Dang.
and she was already getting a little emotional. Then when I told her she was going on a cruise, everybody cried. Them tears were shooting out.
Imagine an all-girl school, so it's females everywhere, so you know how we like to
it was
tear.
just special. But that was just something we were doing all across America just to let educators know, like, no cap. I really do honor and really do appreciate what you all doing. When I heard her story, I was like, she next level.
Yeah.
Because she kept showing up. You know what I'm saying? She
And
kept
that's
showing
what
up.
it's
And we're going to
about.
talk about that today on the podcast. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So when
Happy
did
to
you
be
first know that you were called? Because you got to be called
Cold and crazy.
to be an educator today.
Some
When
people
did
say
you
a
know?
little, let's be honest,
Yeah.
especially,
A little cuckoo.
like, it's
You need
more than
that-
a little.
That edge.
Let's be honest.
A little chaotic. A little chaotic. When was I called? So I always loved children. So
Okay.
even as a young age, I started my own babysitters club.
Really?
The books, I
Stop.
love reading, and I had every one of the babysitters club's books. So I said, I can do this too. Had business cards. I was the only child, so I love being around other people.
Yes.
Right.
And so I started my own babysitters club and babysitted all the time.
Wow.
However, all the women in my family were nurses, and everybody I looked up to, they were all nurses. So I said, well, I'll be a pediatric nurse. I still want to work with children, but I'm going to be a nurse. Got through probably my first year and a half. Struggling. I mean, that GPA was going. I had a full scholarship, but that GPA was going down, down,
He
down,
was
down.
like, this ain't for me.
That's not it. This is not. And so I switched to teaching. And my dad said, I always knew you would be a teacher. I wasn't going to tell you. I was going to let you find it yourself. He said, I always knew you were going to be a teacher.
So it didn't come as a surprise to him. He was
not at
probably
all.
like, yep, I knew it.
Yep. Nope.
Oh,
He
isn't
knew
that
it.
just our father, though?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Oh,
Yes.
that's good.
That's just our father. Like,
He
he
be
doesn't
knowing.
want to always tell us,
Yep. Sometimes he lets us find our own way.
but he knows it. And he knows it all along.
You better
Ooh,
preach. That's rich. I like how you
girl,
did
that hit. That hit something different just then.
That's how daddy do. You know what I'm saying?
Daddy's girl right here.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you've been in Georgia.
The entire time. I am a
entire
true
time.
Georgia peach.
Okay.
Born here, raised here, college here, grad school
Straight up.
here.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Lakeside, graduated from Lakeside,
Okay.
and then I went to University of West Georgia
Okay.
for my undergrad, and then I went to Georgia State for grad school. So yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
I love
Awesome.
that.
Awesome. So tell us about that one kid that made you say, boy, if I get away with it, like, you drive me crazy. Like,
So this question was really interesting to me because I feel like every year there's that kid.
Yep, I agree.
Every single year.
every year you have a Jeremy in your class.
Every year, yes.
Right.
But what's different is my family, my friends have coined it as the Shaw class. So I always say they're cute but naughty. So I have a class, but every year there is a child that usually we go through many ups and downs. They are the one I still can talk to and find to this very day. I still have connections with their parents, still are, on social media. I still check on that child. So I would say I couldn't, every time I thought about one, I was like, no, he wasn't the one or she wasn't the one. But there was one, you all might know this child. He's the board member's child or the teacher's child. Very smart, but will push everybody and knows that they kind of have their way and can manipulate
Because
some
they know that, like,
they know the ins and outs of schools. They've been around their parents who are educators or on the board and kind of know what they can do. And so he knew how to press those buttons and knew, what to do. So I would say if I had to think about it, it was a second grader.
Right. Oh, in second grade.
Dang.
He knew
They
he
learned
had
young.
Yeah, he was smart.
Learning
He was
young.
smart. Yeah. So yeah.
I
Was-
love how you say, though, that you still have that connection and that
yeah.
relationship with your parents and with your students, because isn't it generally those that we like struggle with the most?
That stay with us.
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean, even his parents weren't denying of his behaviors. And so, I mean, mom still texts me now when she thinks something great that I should get into or anything. So still, and that was 6 years ago, just that particular one. But I have some of my first students just graduated, class of 2020.
Wow.
And I mean, was invited to graduation cookouts and everything.
Yep.
They still remember. I was Miss Brown then, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So, yeah.
dope. That's dope.
I love that.
Was there ever a moment when we call it like the almost breaking point, right?
Yeah.
Where it might have been a student, might have been teachers, might have been administration, where you was just like, this ain't what I signed up for. I'm out. But then, of course, it didn't
stayed.
break you because you stayed. But tell us about like one of those moments where you just felt like this ain't right, this ain't it, like this is rough. Like,
And it may not be like necessarily a student.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely, like, I think for a lot of us, it's like administration or the system or parents or.
So mine, I can remember very vividly because it was when I was outside of the classroom. I'm always at home in the classroom, but when I was outside of the classroom and working as a literacy specialist, the school was, kindergarten to 8th grade. I had only really worked with kindergarten through 2nd grade. And so I was really feeling defeated. Like, how am I helping these teachers so that they can help their student? I'm very passionate about teaching. I want learning to be so engaged in learning, but am I doing what I'm supposed to do in this new role? Because it was my first year as a literacy specialist. And if you can imagine being a literacy specialist, you've been working towards this for a long time, and you come to a school with no reading program, no library. A lot of teachers are not, in charter schools, you don't have to necessarily be certified. So a lot of teachers, a lot of the teachers were just walking into education. So, I mean, it was like one thing after the next stacked up against me. And so I went in my office and just cried and said, how can I really, shift this role? And later finding out that I was making a difference, but I just didn't feel like I was making that difference.
Yeah. Isn't that typically how it goes, though? Like, even when you're in the classroom, sometimes you don't think you're making a difference. And then next thing you know, they are blossoming.
Or you'll get that one email from a parent or a note or something. Or you'll see them maybe, if it's not even that year, you'll see them a year or maybe 2 years later come down the hallway. Or their teacher reach out back to you and say, hey, I can see,
where you made a
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rich. Yeah, that's rich. That's needed. And we like to share those moments because there are so many educators that watch the podcast and listen, and they want that message of hope, like it's gonna be okay. Like it seems rough. I know these kids
Right
getting
now.
crazy, and I know some of them you wouldn't mind if they stay home because they got sick with the Rona. As long as
even
they come
with
back.
them being home,
But they're never
right now.
sick. That one child is
They're never sick. But these days, it don't matter if they stay home because they still get on Zoom. It don't matter.
It's still
And they
driving
go
me
act a
crazy.
fool over Zoom.
Yes,
Man, let me
that's
tell you
true.
something. I was doing a session for a school in Kentucky. That's all I'm gonna say. I do a lot of work in Kentucky now. It's picking up serious. But there was a school, and they was like, man, these kids struggling. They in middle school, like so. I'm pouring into them. I'm going, and it's like whenever the kids would come on late, you hear their mama fussing, the cuss in the background. You hear their siblings screaming, and I'm like, hey. B6219, I don't know what your name is. Then now the principal, Miss Roderick, put your phone on. It was a mess. It was a hot mess.
Welcome.
But I'm like, but I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the kids were locked in, and I shared from the heart, and it was cool to like read all the little messages they put in the chat. But this is a new world that we dealing with.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, are you all virtual? Are you in physically brick and mortar in the school? Are you virtual, hybrid? Like, what's it been like?
I am brick and mortar Monday through Friday, 7 to 3 o'clock.
Okay.
With
2, 3? Oh, 13.
13 5-year-olds. Kindergarten.
Right, straight up.
And how does the mask work with a 5-year-old?
And so this is normal to them. It's our new normal, but this is their first year coming to school, and this is what they know. So really, often I don't really have to say, put on your mask after snack time and lunchtime when we're transitioning back to putting on. But really, they have it on, and they're doing great.
Wow.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
I have to say it to my one this year.
Right.
But really, because they know no different. They come to school to
Now,
math.
when you first found out, okay, we're going back to school, what were your initial thoughts?
And so my county was the last county to make the
So
announcement.
you was like, can y'all please
I was
let us know what we finna
please,
do?
and please, and then for them to make the announcement to be the only county in the metro area that was going face to face. So I was like, what?
That had to be feeling dope.
So it was like, oh my goodness, what is this looking like? And so it was just like, you know what? We got to get to work. How are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
And
good for you.
And so
You wasn't writing letters? You wasn't? Okay.
no,
You
I
was
mean, I
just
really
like,
was.
It is what it
really,
is.
what I was doing was planning to be in class and making it. I really love for my classroom to have a theme, and I go all extreme with my theme every year. So getting that together.
So wait,
but
what's the theme this year?
This year, well, my school is the
Was it a
Suns.
hospital? Oh,
No,
Stop. I can't.
document stuffings
Was it
or something.
COVID
No,
clinic?
no.
Right.
No, actually, we are the
Heaven help
Suns,
us.
and so I have sunflowers all over my room, and
okay.
so I have a big. I love to cricket and make all things, and so I have a big wall that says "Bloom," where you are planted.
Jeremy, do you know what cricket?
Come on.
You know what a cricket is?
Yeah, man, in my backyard at nighttime,
No.
are you?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, it like cuts out like that stuff.
Yeah, and your shirt.
Yeah.
Like when people make shirts. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And so, but it can
Okay.
also make many things for the classroom.
Yes.
And so I cut out all these huge, big blossoms all over my room, hanging everywhere, and words,
Why is
inspiring
it called
words.
a cricket, though?
That's just the
it
name
just-
of it.
Yeah.
Why is it called an
Why,
apple?
why not call it a cutout?
Why is
Well,
it
it has
called
cut
an apple?
in the word cricket. So you're cutting out things.
Crit cut. Oh, okay.
But a cricket is how
I
you
just learned
pronounce it.
something new.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I thought
getting
we'd
that all
educate Jeremy
Yeah,
today
thank you.
real quick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just a minute.
Yeah. Next level teaching
And so
me.
I was getting all that ready, but at the same time preparing them binders for just in case we had to make that switch where, because my school decided we can be green level, which is Monday through Friday. You come to school. You can be yellow, which is hybrid, come to that school 2 days a week, or you can be red. So at any moment we knew that we might have to have these students prepared to be working from home. And because it's kindergarten, we wanted to make sure they had their own manipulatives and their own pencils and crayons and centers. So while we were creating things for in the classroom, my parent and I were also, I even had my mother-in-law cutting out lamination, making things for them to at any time transition to being home.
Right.
So it was like you were getting ready for your virtual class, but also your face-to-face class.
Stay ready so you ain't
Stay
got to
ready,
get
be
ready.
ready. Yep.
Wow.
I love
Okay,
it.
you just put life into perspective for me,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's rich.
I am grateful.
Because you're intentional about adding the most value.
Yes.
So you're like, this
Yes.
is working, but just in case, I want to be ready.
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't like the spring where we kind of were transitioning out of the school year
Right.
and we knew our students, we had built relationships. We were beginning the school year. And for kindergarten, this is their first experience, a lot of them
Yeah.
for school period. So we wanted to make sure that they were going to be able to transition well in, but if they needed to transition out,
Right.
that they would be prepared.
Right.
And so we were buying things like those individual shoe boxes where they could have their own manipulatives, where we were also still practicing social distancing and rearranging, we had to get rid of all the carpets and fuzzy things in the classroom, which
Yeah.
is hard in the younger grades,
Yeah.
and still make it look welcoming in the classroom.
So are they using their own manipulatives right now? So
Yes.
how is that working? Is that overwhelming for you?
No, they really got the good hang of it. So in the clear shoe boxes are all of our math manipulatives, the shapes, the cubes, the counters, and then they also have their own pencil pouches with their own crayons, scissors, glue, and they just, when I say go get your pencil pouch, they go get their pencil
Yeah,
pouch.
they
When
do.
I say go get your math toolbox, because we call them tools, go get your math tools. And so because again it's kindergarten, so we have setting that foundation, so they don't know any different.
Yeah.
If it was second grade or third grade, another grade level maybe, but this is what's normal for them. This is what
Right.
they're coming into.
So I was interested at your perspective. That's why I
Yeah.
asked Tori, like, when you decided or when you found out that you all were going to be, in person, what your mindset was. Because I cannot tell you how many educators I've talked to. They send me emails and messages on Instagram. And it's just like, if the ones that were going to school, those just happen to be the ones that was like, I don't feel comfortable, right? And I'm like, yo, I get it. I get it. There are still so many questions. Is it airborne? Is it not airborne? What's a myth? What's not? Like, is it easy to be transmitted? Like, are y'all really going to protect me? Like, the mask thing. And then there are some that was like, it's all virtual, but they're like, man, I would rather be in the classroom to really connect with these kids. So I
Yeah.
was curious as to what your take was. And I think that's such a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what it is. Let's get it done.
And that's my temperament most of the time, like whatever it is. And even like being respectful of administration and saying, this is what they're asking us to do. I'm going to do it to my best ability. And I can't go into the classroom being fearful because then that's going to transmit to my students. And so I have to be prepared and walk through the door and give them the best of me that I can because, and then also I'm the grade level chair. So if I present a certain kind of fear and a mood and a tone, then I set the tone for my teammates and my teachers on my team. So I had to just be that person to be okay. And like I said, it's my personality. And my family was definitely checking in, like, are you okay? Do y'all have a teacher union? Can you stand up again? I said, really? I'm okay. And so going back to that question of when did I know I was going to be a teacher, that kind of switched. But what I knew was that I always wanted to teach early grade levels, like K1 and 2, because I feel like setting that foundation is so important. So again, here of all the years, setting this strong, steady, and stable foundation was really important to me. And I just knew I couldn't go into it feeling let down by my, administrators or not feeling protected. I just had to do the best that I could and just have faith that we will be okay.
Wow. That's rich. Yeah, that's rich. In today's day and age, like...
I'm just speechless over here right. You know me.
Yeah, because a lot of folks were just... It's just different. It's weird. It's different timings. And so, but you also said like you're wired like that. Like everybody has different gifts, different... mindsets, different, approaches, different methodologies to overcoming adversity and trying to deal with things and how do they handle it and how do you tackle it. And then I think it depends on the school and the culture and the district because some districts, they implement things a little bit differently and it's a lot. It can be very, complicated. But I think for educators to hear you say that she was like, okay, this is what it is. Let's get it done. Yeah. I was doing a PD recently for a school district and they was like, Jeremy, our theme is kids first. So for their whole thing was just like, okay, I know you're upset, but kids first. Like the biggest focus has to be on the kids. And when I talked to a lot of administrators and teachers, they were not so much so caught up on the, them. Like, I don't know. I don't feel it was more so, but for what's best for the kids.
Right.
And I think that's where that mindset and that focus should be. Because it's so easy for us to, even as a husband, right? Sometimes I'm like, but what about me? And I'm like, you know what though? But I didn't get married for that. I got married. I love my wife. I want to serve my wife. But it's so easy as humans to say, okay, but what about me? And I'm like, all right, let me not have that mindset. Let me just continue to serve. Let me just continue to add value. Let me just continue to be a blessing. Like the best relationships is when you have that mindset of what not John F. Kennedy said. Like, don't ask what America could do for you. Like, what are you bringing to the table?
Having that servant, kind of leadership.
Right, that servant leadership, right? So to all the married folk out there, right? Like, I saw a shift in my marriage when I stopped saying, what about me? And I was like, you know what? I can't control what you're going to do. I'm just going to keep serving you. I'm going to keep affirming. I'm going to speak your love language fluently. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to be the best husband I can be. And then it's contagious. Yeah. Then I find my wife saying, well, what you want to do? Well, what are you thinking? And so now it's like we work it together now as opposed to her saying you and then me saying, what is you or is you? It was like we was like defense, offense, but we on the same team. Right. Like we got two different roles. Exactly. So she on protecting the family. I'm on progressing the family. And so sometimes when you come to protection, it can stop progression. And if you try to progress too quickly, you're not protecting the family. So it's like you got to have a balance. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like in our mindsets, like in the classroom, if we have the same mindset that says, it's not about what I want, it's not about what I need, it's not about what makes me comfortable, how can I best serve these kids? Right. That's when breakthroughs come.
And I always remember from undergrad, one of my professors said, leave it at the door. Yes, you are adults and you have your own things,
leave it over there.
Leave
Why
it.
are you looking at me like that? I'm already feeling convicted enough. Like, I wish you would have watched my face.
You was my amen. You was like my amen corner. Like, ooh, that was good right there.
I'm over here, like, you're going to have to watch this one back because my face during all of this.
Right.
Your eyebrows has been up.
Yeah, like so convicted right now. Can y'all just stop?
Yeah, but you loving on your babies.
I know, but like, oh, so much conviction.
Oh, okay.
So much conviction right now.
It does. So I remember that, like, no matter what, and it's tough sometimes to leave that door. When you're married and you have had a night or a morning or even with your own kids, getting them ready for school, but leave it at the door because those students in that classroom are your priority at that time.
Deserve
and they deserve
they
your
didn't
best.
do anything to
to do any
to get that that wrath.
what you're bringing, what you would bring in.
Yes.
I remember sitting here like, what did I do to you? Like, I know I was bad. That was yesterday, though.
Yeah.
It's
Every day's a new
8:05.
day.
I ain't even did that yet.
So
you got some
leave it
stuff
at the
going
door.
on.
For 5 minutes, bro. Hold on now.
So I like that you had 2 P's when you were talking about your marriage, being you were protection
and progression.
Because I had to tell myself early on in the classroom, I would have peace, I would be positive, and I would be productive. And I say that every day: be peaceful, be positive, and be productive.
Take time out. Break that down. Snap it. I knew the snaps was coming. Yeah.
So that's kind of like my
let's
mantra
start
every
with the
day.
first one.
Okay.
Because sometimes administration and parents in the emails and kids can zap your peace. What do you do when you speak it? Tell our listeners and viewers.
And
Yeah, the peace.
so the peace parts come from what can I control? What's in my circle of control? And what's out of, if I can't control it, and it's not going to bring me peace, I have to leave it alone. And so that's where that comes from. And we are a leader in me school, so our first habit is to be proactive. And so sometimes I check myself. I'm in charge of my mood. I'm in charge of my actions. I'm in charge of my attitude. And that if I let those infect me, that's infecting my peace. And so you have to have peace.
Okay, so that's peace. What was the next one?
Positive. So I'm high energy.
You gotta be with kindergarten.
You gotta be high energy with kindergarten.
Be.
And so this school year we did the DOPE test. Have you heard the DOPE test?
No.
So it's a personality test. Dove for D. Owl, O for owl,
like the disc
P for peacock, and E for eagle. So I'm a peacock. High energy, lots of emotion, lots of creativity. And so really, I mean, last year when I first started at my new school, they were like, you're just always smiling. And it's really genuine because I love teaching. I love the kindergartners, and you do have to be high energy to keep them engaged.
Yeah.
So positive is not just positive with your kids, but also positive on your grade level when you start all that teacher talking. And because I've been on both sides, I kind of can understand why administration is saying some things and why they are requesting something. So if I start that gossip, teacher gossip, and I continue that rumor mill, then that's not going to create a good learning environment and culture for your school.
Yeah.
So being positive with your students and also being positive with your teammates and your peers as coworkers.
That's good. And the final piece. So peace, positive.
And productive. And so that goes into all types of things. Planning, your materials being ready.
That goes into that gossip too, though.
Yes,
because you
that's
can
true.
get wrapped up in time with that.
Yes, in the hallway when you just think you're stepping out in the hallway for a minute, and then 5 minutes later you're still in the hallway.
Yeah.
And your kids
You mean like 15?
Use your whole planning time.
For real though, there's some days where I do.
Yes, and that's because sometimes, because I'm very social, and my room was kind of a hangout because I always had snacks in my room, so people like to be in my room. And so I would find my whole planning periods going by, and I was not productive at all. And so telling
then you
myself,
get stressed, and then there's no peace.
and you're taking lots home.
Y'all brought that all the way together. I like how you did that.
Yeah, and so just really being productive, making every moment count, using those teachable moments. Because sometimes you can plan and plan and plan, but sometimes you just got to go into those teachable moments.
Yes.
And I'm really more on the teachable moments and planning, especially after 16 years.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to write a lesson plan, but I know how to
Because you know the
done.
curriculum.
Yeah.
And you know what you need to be teaching them. And I love those teachable moments because
Oh, they're so fun.
it is. It's so like refreshing, and it's like it gets rid of the monotony and things, I feel like, because especially I think it's a little bit different with elementary, but with middle and high school, when you're teaching the same thing 4, 5, 6, 7
periods.
times. Oh my gosh, it does. It just gets monotonous after a little while. And when you are, I'm sure I would probably be a peacock as well, in this like fun, like I literally am one that I'm like standing on desks and then you get like so just bored with whatever's going on with the typical lesson plan to a certain extent. And so those teachable moments, they really kind of freshen things up for everyone, I feel like.
And what I also, because building relationships is important to me, so it keeps the students engaged.
Right.
Because if I can tie in that at your baseball game, this is how I can connect this, or if in gymnastics you are doing this. So if they of course they're 5, so they're going to go off on a tangent. But if I can find a way to pull that back in and connect it with the lesson, then it really sticks with them more because you have more meaning and purpose behind what you're saying.
Well, and I think that's where making the relationships with students really comes in. And that's what I tell my kids at the beginning of the year is like, I want to get to know you because that's how I make math more fun.
That's it.
Is because I can then
Right.
put you in a word problem and talk about, Jeremy's playing ping pong against Ebony and he's going to lose because Ebony got 15 more points than Jeremy. And so then I just made an expression.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. So all these years of experience, what would you tell a first year teacher?
Oh, hands down, build relationships.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Build, and not, people think, oh, with your students. No. With auntie that has custody, with mom and dad, with grandma, build relationships with those guardians and those parents. Because once you have them on your side and on your team, it's a 3-person team. It's the student, the parent, and the teacher.
Oh, come on with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick.
Yeah.
So we got our next level student SEL PBIS curriculum, right?
Yeah.
So we dropped the next level teaching book.
Yes.
But you know why I wrote the next level parent book?
Why?
I got tired of administrators like, these parents driving me crazy. I was like, you know what, you're right. I be wondering. I do so many like town halls and like community nights with different school districts, and I be telling these parents like, stop acting like your kids is angels.
Yes.
You know they're crazy, right? So stop treating school stop treating school like all of a sudden your kids got it together.
Or they're feeling it this year with these students at home.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And so I said, so I wrote the next level parent book to show. And I promise y'all, this is not a shameless plug. I just want this to be like relevant, right? I want to tie it. I feel like you got to have like the trifecta. You do the work with the students, you do the work with the teachers, but that parental component, like that's that last
the buy-in
piece.
Well,
from the
there's all the
parent.
stakeholders involved.
Yeah.
And I think the community also has got to step up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
more.
got some sections in there too on how you can tie that in because we want to show parents today how to even connect with kids. Because nowadays with social media and technology, how do you better effectively connect, and then how you build stronger relationships with the school?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say one parent, her son was just constantly acting out, just attention-seeking behavior. And he just wanted attention. And I said, on the way to school, do you talk on your phone when you're driving him to school? She said, yes. When you pick him up, do you talk on the phone to your friends on the way home? She said, yeah. I said, he just wants to talk. You're not giving him any time to start his day or to unload his day.
I'm mad at you.
Conviction?
We not friends no more. Conviction. Remember I told you a few podcasts ago how the school called home on my daughter, and it wasn't too bad, but they were noticing some things in her behavior. And I should know better because I be training teachers and parents on this. But in my brain, the first thing I heard was I failed as a parent.
Yeah.
And so then one of the ladies says, well, maybe Mr. Anderson, you always have these white things in your ear, and it's like you're always on the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have no clue what my relationship is like with my daughter. I was like,
was up.
Rob, I'm trying to tell you. I'm like, I do story time. I'm praying with her at night. We have all sorts of activities. But I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that time on the drive-in when she might be doing whatever, like let me just have all my calls after I drop her off because that gives her some time to get the chill. That's why I was like, conviction. Like, I'm mad at you.
Absolutely. And again, if I didn't build that relationship with that parent, she was like, who are you talking to, Miss Shaw? But
I was offended. You know, I was about to name drop. Like, I work for this school. I've got this doctor's number in my phone. Like, this is what I do for a living. Check out my website. But I was just like, you know what? Man,
check yours out.
You might be right.
Yeah.
You might be right. But now I'm thinking now, like, you're right.
Build those relationships with your parent because especially when you have that interrupting behavior, they're not on so much on the defense because you've built that relationship and they know that you're coming from a place of love and for caring of the child. And so they're more willing to listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So before we get to rapid fire, right?
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about the educational system today. If the White House called you and said, hey, Ms. Shaw, we see the great work you're doing, you know what I'm saying, we want to implement some new things, what would be the one thing if you had the power to change about the educational system?
So mine was real simple.
Okay.
It was stop finger pointing. It can't be the administration's fault, the board office, or the board members, or this teacher, or the teacher. What was your teacher doing last year? Stop finger pointing. Know your lane, know your role, and do what's best for your student at the time that you have them. And then I feel like if everyone would stay in their lane and do what they're supposed to do to their best ability, then it will all come together. And so really, it wasn't about, of course I could say testing and, all of these things, but really stop finger pointing, because if we really, I hate now that
Everybody got a
sometimes
role to play.
teachers, it's like a competition. It's not a competition.
talked
We are
about
all
that.
working best for our students. And
Yeah.
so we stop saying, your teacher last year didn't prepare you. Or these principals and administrators, they don't know what they're doing. If we stop finger pointing and just do the best that we can with the student when we have them,
Yeah.
Right.
then we can make that difference.
Dang, girl.
That's rich.
She got so much conviction
That's
going on
rich.
today.
That's rich.
It is
I'm
Sunday.
finna, she finna cut everybody's fingers off. Give me your finger.
It is
Stop
Sunday.
finger pointing. I love it. That's rich.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You ready for some rapid fire?
You ready?
Oh, goodness.
All right.
All right. 87 million questions.
Okay.
60 seconds.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. If you had a super strength or a superpower, do you want it to be super strength or invisibility?
Invisibility.
Okay. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Fill in the blank. Beyonce is?
Beyonce is a vibe.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
She's like, I can't tell you.
7.
Okay. Okay. What nickname did your parents used to call you?
Michelle My Belle.
Michelle, my
I
brother. That's
love
cute.
that
I love
so
it.
much. How long does it take you to get ready?
I can really do a good strong 12 minutes.
Oh, yes. My kind of
Yes.
girl. I love that. All right. Do you snore?
Yes. My husband would say
okay.
yes.
She's like, I don't think so, but he
I
says
say it's
yeah.
my asthma and sinuses.
What type of milk do you put in your cereal?
I don't like milk. I only put like enough to make it wet.
Oh, that's how I am too.
I love it. Man, Michelle,
Me too,
thank
girl.
you so much
You're
for being with us.
welcome.
Man, thank you for
Yes.
your heart. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What you bring to the table every day. That energy is contagious. You are a vibe.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
for
saying?
real.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm not just
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah,
Like
you
your
are.
energy, it's,
Thank you.
it's almost like them cheekbones.
Yes,
that
you're
beautiful
so
smile,
good.
like that
Yes.
smile, like I could have the worst attitude. You put that smile on me, I'm like,
I know.
I guess it'll be okay.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Like,
Like,
but you keep,
yeah.
like, God wired you that way.
Yeah.
You know, He wired you that way. So I want you to keep the energy. That's
Thank you.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Thank you.
it was really great getting that conviction today that I needed.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And I'm so glad that I finally got to meet you.
Yes,
Since everyone
since I-
else
yeah.
knows you.
Right.
And thank you guys. Thanks for hopping on with us
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Thanks for sticking with us. For those of you that are subscribing and sharing it with your
Yes,
friends.
please.
We love you for that. And we hope that you guys love being with us. You got another timer on
That
me?
was your timeout. Time out. The time is done.
Don't forget about that 5-star rating.
Yes, please.
Leave us a comment, and
Yeah.
we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye, guys.